Hello, hello! Today we have the Strange and Unusual palette from BellaBeauteBar. As you can see here, it's obviously very much inspired by the film Beetlejuice with the characters by Tim Burton. And I guess I should start with a disclaimer. I am so pissed. Usually when a palette doesn't work out, I'm sad. I'm like, oh no, this didn't work for me. This just isn't for me. I have never been so disappointed, so let down, so angry. I'm gonna be cussing in this video, y'all. If you have a problem with me cussing, you better click away. I'm just letting you know right now, because I'm fucking pissed. This palette, this freaking palette, okay. I love Beetlejuice. I thought it was a cute concept, so, you know, I was like, I'm gonna get this palette. This palette is freaking expensive. It's expensive. If you go on the website right now, it's actually sold out. But this palette costs $69. $69. That is Natasha Denona money. This is not even close to being a Natasha Denona palette. Absolutely freaking disappointed with this. So it costs $69. Let me pull up my thing. I had to pay $69, and there's $1.95 for the root package protection, which I had to get, or else this is just one of those brands where if you don't get the protection, they don't care if anything happens to your palette. They're not going to do anything about it unless you buy that protection. So I bought the protection. Thankfully, I was able to find a discount for, it's Millie 10 is a discount I found. I think that might be a YouTuber on here, but I just really wanted the discount because the shipping was $6. That's pretty good. I like that. And so I was able to get a small discount for $7.10 off. So overall, I ended up paying $69.85, and I ended up saving $7.10. I have never, in the entire time that I have been into my little makeup collection, my makeup hobby, have ever seriously considered emailing the brand and asking for a refund because I am so unsatisfied and unhappy with this product. Absolutely. I can't believe, no. Ugh. So first of all, I ordered this on pre-order. So it says it was going to take 8 weeks to get to me. So this is how I ordered it. I have my phone right here. It says at the time, it was going to be 8 weeks to get to me. I ordered this in September. I received it in December. I believe it was closer to maybe 10 weeks before it finally reached me. That was the first thing. It took really long to get to me, but I didn't mind, you know, because I have, you know, other makeup palettes to get through, and this is my hobby, so I was willing to wait for, you know, I'm willing to wait for a good thing. I didn't mind. I'm willing to wait. So I waited. It took a while to get to me. Finally got it in December. I just got around to trying it out now because I've been really into like the multichromes and the duochromes, and I think all that stuff's been really fun, so I was like, ooh, let me try this. Okay, so this is a sleeve. And I mean, the ingredients are in the back. Ingredients are in the back. It's pretty much the same exact thing. It's a sleeve. I have to assume that $69 is because of all the multichromes, duochromes in this palette and not the packaging, because this packaging is so standard. This is, I mean, not that different from the $30 palette I reviewed recently. I guess they might have to commission an artist to create this artwork. I mean, it is pretty, it's cute, but I mean, it's very simple, not $69 component we're looking at here. So they're same thing. We're opening it up. So in here we can see a mirror. There's a nice big mirror in there. There's no artwork around the mirror. I guess down there it says, "I myself am strange and unusual," which is a quote from the movie. And this is the palette. And I think it's an interesting color story. I'm not going to knock down the color story. I thought it was an interesting color story. That's why I bought it. I love the names. The names have everything to do and referencing the film. I personally really love that. But here's where I get pissed off. So a couple weeks ago, maybe, I was talking to my friend Brew. Hey, Brew. And I was telling him, you know, like, I've never had an allergic reaction to eyeshadows before. I'm pretty good with that. You know, I'll try the dollar LA colors, and I'll try the drug makeup, the drugstore makeup, and I'll try, like, the $3, $5 off-brand, made-in-China palettes, I've never had an issue. I have only ever had eye irritation with cheap mascaras and cheap eyelash glue. Those are the only things that have ever made my eyes swollen, irritated, flaky, blister, all that awful jazz. This is a $69 palette. I can't remember the last time eyeshadow has irritated my eyes. I don't think it's ever happened. Let's start with day one. So day one, I was like, I'm gonna use the lightest shades in this palette. So I go down, just go down this column. Use Barbara, Sandworm, Miss Argentina. I think I'm okay with the mattes. I think if I'm trying not to irritate my skin again, but this white matte right here, remember how I talked about in that Etsy video that I came out with? I said they could have easily used cheap mattes in this palette, and I'm surprised that they didn't. They used pretty cheap mattes in this. So this on my eye, it ends up disappearing. It's not very strong. This is a pretty standard weak powdery white matte shade. That's the first thing. That was my first sign that this wasn't going to go well. And then we have these two shades down here, Sandworm and Miss Argentina. I put them on. First of all, again, something I learned from one of my favorite YouTubers that I like to watch, Teresa's Dead. I don't want to get ahead of myself, but pretty much, overall, there's a lot of glitter bukkake that comes from this freaking palette. Glitter goes everywhere. If you've seen me do my makeup, you know I will put my eyeshadow on, and then I will take a face wipe and clean up my face, clean the glitter off my face, whatever's fallen, all that fallout, clean it off my face, and then do my liner. I did that, and then returned later on back to the bathroom to look at my makeup, and I had glitter all over my face again, even though I had cleaned it up. I don't know, I can't remember the last time that's ever happened. But apart from that, this look that I did, I had to remove 1 hour after applying because my eyes had gotten so irritated from this makeup. My eyes were itching like crazy. They were burning. It was not good. So I washed it off, and I was like, well, maybe my eyes were having a bad day. I tried to blame it on myself. And apart from that, I couldn't pick these up with a brush. They would not pick up on a brush. I had to use my finger. So, y'all know, I'm annoyed. So, next day, I was like, okay, well, let's try something else. Maybe it was me. It's a me thing, right? It's my fault. So, I did this column right here. This time, I wet my brush with setting spray to try and get this on here. Didn't work either. So, wet brush doesn't do it. Dry brush doesn't do it. Checked on the website. There's no instructions on how to maybe best apply these shades. So once again, I'm having to go in with my finger. So I'm definitely not going to touch these because I had a bad reaction with these. Spoiler alert, I had a bad reaction with these. Again, my eyes were super itchy. They started watering. My husband actually looked at me and said, honey, are you crying? I'm like, why are you crying? And I was like, oh no, I'm not crying. I'm like, my eyes are just really irritated. So I did, again, a couple hours after wearing this. I was able to wear this a little longer, but I did have to wash this off. I'm going to swatch Lydia. Lydia is pretty okay. This was the first shade that I was finally kind of impressed with. I think this is a decent red shade, but I couldn't see myself keeping this entire palette for a single red shade, especially when, honey, I've seen better red shades in a Glam Light palette. There's better red shades in my Kylie palette. Come on now. But it's a decent red nonetheless. Okay. Third day. I'm starting to lose hope. On the third day, I did this purple look right here. I would dare to say that this purple look was the only eyeshadow look that I wore that I had absolutely no issues with. So I'm going to swatch all three of these. So it's Dahlia, Beetlejuice, and Tombstone. And I'm trying to remember, I think I had to pick up Dahlia with my finger because I learned that I couldn't really do it with a brush, but I was able to do Tombstone with a brush, so that was really nice. I was able to pick that up. And then we had, I really loved this. This is actually not like a matte, it's more of a satin. I think this might be the one they called a matte sparkle. No, that must be matte sparkle. I don't know why they would call this a matte. It's not a matte, it's more of a satin. So let's dig in there. I really liked this purple as well. So those three, I had no irritation on my eyes. There was no random glitter falling all over my face. I love the shine and the sparkle. It lasted all day. I don't remember any creasing. It was perfect. I was so surprised. I'm like, okay, I'm having some hope. Alright, so then we go to day 4. Day 4, I'm kind of honestly done with this palette. And I tell myself, I'm gonna do, these are the last 2 rows that I have left. I'm like, I'm gonna do one eye, and if I like that eye, I'll do the other eye. If I don't like the eye, I'll just do the next look. So, Recently Deceased. It's kind of the same like Barbara. Weak as hell. Weak shade. Doesn't really stay on. It's just not a very good shade. We have Buy Your Exorcist over here, which I think is supposed to have a shift. I don't know if the camera's going to catch it, but on my eye, all I saw was purple. All I'm seeing on the camera is purple. I don't know if you see any shift, but I think this is supposed to have like a blue to purple shift. I just saw purple. So I was like, that color's not worth keeping this shade. I thought this shade was interesting. I thought this looked really pretty. Very interesting. I don't think I have anything like this in my collection. But it did crease like a mofo. Those creases in my eyes were deep as hell. It creased so badly. I think this might be fun to wear as like costumey kind of makeup and apply it maybe on my face instead of on my eyes. But this shade is one of the better shades, I would say. Apart from, so this whole row, I'm not happy with. I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna do my other eye, same day, and just finish using these. The black's a black, not really, you know, standard black. Didn't think anything was special about that black. Lost Souls was interesting. This has like, it's green. It's like a green with a pink kind of like shift, but at the same time, it kind of just looks like your usual gold to green shift that you see in other palettes. It looks a lot more interesting in the pan than on the eye. You don't see it too much on the eye. You'd really have to look for it to find it on the eye. This Beetlejuice shade here, ooh, this worked so beautifully. So beautifully. This is one of the better shades in this palette. I really liked this shade. I think it worked so easy, blended so easily, beautifully pigmented. I think that's a good shade. Now, what to do with this palette? Well, I'm sure as hell not keeping it. And I'm kind of honestly worried about giving this away. Just because I don't want to speak in absolutes, but I feel very confident in saying I have never used a eyeshadow palette that has ever given me a bad reaction like this palette has. I don't know if it was because of, I mean, go look this palette up. I'm sure you'll find dozens of positive reviews about this palette. This palette came from a restock, so I don't know if it could happen if there was a change in formula and all of a sudden it's not as good as the initial formula that came out. They do that apparently. Just allegedly. But I'm not happy with this. I'm going to see if I can try to find a palette that has similarly shaped, or I guess exactly shaped eyeshadow pans, because I want to depan this palette. I want to take out the purples that I love. I like this green. I'll think about maybe stealing these two, but these 2 entire rows, ugh, not good. Everything else was just kind of mediocre. I'm not happy with this palette. I'm not. And it's so unfortunate because I spent so much freaking money on this palette and I'm not happy with it. So can I recommend this palette? God, you better be cautious, because I don't think I would even recommend this brand. I went back on their website, I'm like, is there anything from this brand that could tempt me from, you know, for buying some stuff from them again? No. I never want to buy from this brand again. I mean, never say never, but I have never had such an awful, itchy reaction. Their shimmers, their multichromes, duochromes, it's almost like a pressed fine powder. It is so fine, and that stuff gets everywhere. I'm not happy with this. And it's more than just, I feel like I'm going to see some comments saying like, oh, you should have used, you know, like shimmer glue or something, like glitter glue. Maybe that would have helped. I'm like, okay, sweetie, but like I still would have had irritation on my eyes. Like if you're allergic to something, you're allergic to something. And did not expect that I would have an allergic reaction to a product that's supposed to be high quality. That's what's upsetting me. Like I said, I'm going to steal if I can, some shades from this palette, but I'm getting rid of this palette. No. No, 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 no. I probably will end up passing it to my MUA cousin, because she does looks, she gets booked for looks for Halloween. So maybe these aren't eye safe, but they could be, you know, face safe or body safe. She could still use some of these shimmers for like body, some body work that she does. But no, 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 no. Absolutely not. I do not recommend this. I don't like this, and I'm pissed off.